Hi, as many of you know, Mark Jones was on this podcast as a writer. And recently we had a discussion about AI and its effects on the careers of writers. Now, because AI moves so quickly, the content that you see may be a little bit outdated, but we wanted to show it to you anyway. So enjoy it. This is our take on technology.
Food.
All the new technology,
Yeah.
IA, self-driving cars,
AI.
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 IA is a union.
You want to do
IATSE.
IATSE.
Yeah. Yes, that's right.
So technology now is, well, now. So AI, they have I guess AI can now write stories, can write scripts, can write songs, can write homework.
Well,
It can.
it can't write scripts yet.
Yes, it can.
No, they say that, but
Don't take it personal, Mark. I know you're a writer.
I'm not able to write either.
Don't take it, but don't think you're taking it personal.
No,
They can
because
write a script.
And I've had discussions with AI guys, and they did agree on this. There's two guys that come in the cigar lounge. One guy, he's a whole.
Never met this person.
No, I swear, I'm not
got an AI.
honest. He said, and I said, you can't get a computer or AI to do humor, sarcasm.
Okay, so forget humor.
Huh?
Forget humor. It can
Well,
write a script.
Well, but you have to program it. Like it can't just
Can it
arbitrarily.
write? Can it just write a script with no humor in it?
No, but what's the story?
You give the story about three guys smoking a cigar, and somebody's wife runs away.
But again, it's going to be horrible. And then you have what they said is if an AI
But
is given a story.
The answer is yes. It can write that script.
No, actually, I everything I've heard they haven't gotten yet where you can literally do slug line dialogue, everything like that. They can do stories. They can do artwork. The artwork, it blew me away. I showed you right there.
Show me the artwork.
The artwork, you say you want a crazy monster that looks like Frankenstein, boom, and it will give you in 30 seconds, 10 seconds, incredible artwork. But in writing, because remember we did experiment. It's whoever programs it. Right now, what I saw in AI, it's got a viewpoint. Like they certain subjects they'll say we can't do. Because the programmers don't want to do that. And so we're not there yet. And I know the Writers Guild is striking about AI. I told you.
Sorry.
Anyway, the choice of what a character says and does, it can't because a human.
Can AI fly a plane?
Well, this is what we were talking about earlier. They can take an airplane without a pilot, big jet, and take it off, land it, and fly. They said we have the technology to do it now, autopilot, etc. The reason they're not doing it is they said passengers would be too afraid to get on the airplane. I wouldn't get on the plane. I was talking to George today about my DVR that screwed up, right? The computer. So you're going to put 300 people in a jumbo jet. When your VCR. For no reason, all of a sudden it wouldn't go to a channel when I had to reboot it. Well, you can't reboot an airplane in flight. So, self-driving cars. I want to drive. That's the thing.
By the way, I had a self-driving car.
Where?
When I was in Florida. I had a car. All I did was put my foot on the gas, and I just sat back.
Did it work? Did you like it?
It was amazing.
Oh, I wouldn't trust it.
Did it get you nervous ever in the?
No, I mean I had my hands close enough that if anything happened. And I was just driving, and the damn thing was going down the road, and following a car in distance. And when I would stop at a light, it would tell me if the car in front of me left.
Wow.
It was incredible. And
Why didn't it just go when the car in front of you left?
Because I had to push the gas.
Oh.
Yeah, I'm talking about total autonomous self-driving cars.
I'm not. I'm talking about that.
I wouldn't trust it like the Tesla. I want to have my hands.
Trust it, but to actually,
I want to have my hands on the wheel.
But to actually not have your hands on the wheel is a very funny thing.
Wow. See, to me, it's like I don't trust it. I mean, one of the things I said about
I like to
driving,
drive.
I like the whole idea of turning and driving.
It's a novelty, is what it is for
but
me.
but they're going to want to do it where everybody has self-driving cars. But here's the issue: a human drives down the street and you see a dog on the side of the road. Now, it's not moving anywhere, so the car's just going to go. I might slow down, going, that dog is wagging its tail, it's looking this way. It might try to cross in front of me. These are things, intuition, we're fine. Intuition and instincts that a human has that a computer cannot do. A computer cannot.
I understand that, but it can drive you. It can.
So can a plane fly, but you wouldn't get into a plane. Why?
It would drive Mark
No,
crazy.
because I don't trust it. But a car can drive you.
No, right, but do you trust a car to be completely autonomous?
No, that's not the question. The question is, you have it, and
Would you use it? And you said no.
I did.
No, you did. I'm saying. I'm sitting in the passenger. Talking about sitting in the passenger seat and letting the car drive you 65 miles an hour
You
wherever
don't
you
be in
want to
the
go.
driver's seat.
Yeah, that's an autonomous car.
That's a little.
They're not
weird
going to
when-
have steering wheels. They're literally going to make autonomous cars.
This be like Johnny Cab in Total Recall.
Yeah, exactly. Listen,
I think Greg actually had the answer to this, which was if all the cars were self-driving, it would be safer. It's the humans mixed with the self-driving that makes a problem.
That's true, but why take yourself out of any kind of physical livingness? We might as well just sit at home with computers in our head and travel to Europe through our computer.
What was that movie? Oh, Wally.
Yeah, Wally, that's
exactly. We are made to do physical stuff. I want to drive. I like turning, and just because we can do it mechanically doesn't mean it should be done.
I agree with you, but I think it's an amazing thing. I think to have a technology in a car where it senses what's in front of you, where the lanes are, when to turn, and it turns.
No, but
it
you know
turns effortlessly.
But they're only going by the Google and the maps and something. Haven't you heard about the ones that are driving off bridges into water?
It's writing a story about three guys sitting around smoking cigars.
Okay,
One of them's
there
a
you go.
murderer.
Okay.
So
One's
read
a
it. You should
murderer.
read it.
Right.
One of them's a murderer. You want to read it?
Well, not
It's
right
writing
now.
it right now.
At the end, we'll read it. But again,
I'll read it. I'll
You should write it on.
I'll read it as so we'll all read it as we go.
Yeah.
The next segment we'll do that.
I think that'd be good. You should read this. See
well,
what
no,
they come
bring
up
it
with.
in. Bring it in. Start reading it
No,
right
I
now. We
can't.
got time.
No, it's gonna be longer than
No, you're
5
not going to read a half hour.
thing
Read
that-
the first paragraph.
No, it's not that long.
Bring it in here. We got 4 minutes.
Okay.
Come here.
Hey, don't drop it. It's a brand new phone.
You read it.
Oh, me?
Yeah, read it. Just read the first paragraph. And as a writer, I'll say
In the
it.
quiet town of Ravenbrook,
Hate the
nestled deep in the heart of the countryside, three friends found themselves drawn to an old, decrepit cabin hidden among the thick woods. It was a place rumored to hold dark secrets and whispered tales of horror. Undeterred by the tales, the trio ventured inside, seeking refuge from the biting cold that engulfed the night. That's a pretty good log line.
But I can just tell you.
Wait, what happened?
Okay.
That's it?
Yeah, you're giving you the premise, I guess.
As they stopped into the dimly lit cabin, the creaking floorboards beneath their feet echoed through the empty halls. Their breath formed ghostly plumes in the chilly air as they made their way to the main room, seeking solace in the warmth of the fireplace. The embers glowed, casting eerie shadows on the cracked walls.
All right.
Pretty good writing.
Well, you know what? I'm out of work, and the strike's going to go forever because that's one of the things the Writers Guild is saying.
Seated around a wooden table, three men pulled out a box of cigars they had brought along, intending to while away the night with good company and tobacco. The flickering light from the fireplace danced across their faces as they laughed, shared stories and jokes.
What kind of cigars?
Among the friends was John, an unassuming man with an air of mystery about him. His eyes held a glimmer of darkness that went unnoticed by the others. As they passed the cigars around, the smoke intertwined with the tension in the room, casting an unsettling haze upon the scene.
Well, you know what?
We should sell that.
You know, it is ours. I mean, it is. Listen, it amazes
It's
me.
actually Greg's. It's his phone, so he owns
It
the rights.
amazes me that it can do that. And I don't know, but see, again, that's not how I would write it. So I'm saying
Much better than how you would write it.
anything's better.
You wrote that in 10
No,
seconds.
I hear it and I don't know how they do it. And the same thing with the photos where they come up
So
with.
you could basically say you could talk to your phone and say, listen, write me a story about whatever. Then that does the work for you. It lays out the story for you. Now, whatever you do with that is your business.
Well, I'm saying is the structure that they wrote nice prose.
You could have the structure.
But yeah, I would have to do the structure.
Maybe now.
But see that again, wouldn't. That's more like a story because it's got a lot of description. It's not the way I write. I think.
But you fill dialogue within that. George said, "What kind of cigars? What'd you bring, Mark?"
But it gave you a place, a scenario.
Yeah.
No,
what I think,
it gave you a feel.
yeah,
it did. But see again, and as a writer, I want to create. Maybe I wouldn't have him go to a cabin. Maybe I'd have him go to a houseboat.
Well, you change it.
Well, then I think that's why we're striking.
the thing,
Seriously, I think they're saying like if AI could really do it, then we don't need writers.
the way I think about AI is, when I went to school,
The head
undergrad,
tilt I noticed a little bit.
What?
Your
The
head
head
tilted.
tilt. The head.
Oh wait, I forgot.
Yeah. Yeah, you were getting there. You were getting there.
They, I had a lyric writing class in music schools before I had stopped and got out of music school. They, the guy said,
George.
Okay, hold it.
Hold your thoughts.
All
Start
right.
on your story.
Yeah, we'll start on George again. So you go. You continue what you were doing, George.
when I was in music school, before I wised up, in undergrad, I had a lyric writing class, and the teacher asked us to buy a rhyming dictionary and a thesaurus.
He asked you to what?
Buy 2 books, a rhyming dictionary and a thesaurus.
Okay.
And then he laid out how you use them and create something. And I said, my problem with it was, the first thing these are great tools when you're stuck, but the premise of what you start with should be the idea or the spark or your inspiration. This is not giving you a chance to be inspired and write without any of that. And then when you get stuck, you start using those to prompt you to get going again. And I don't think AI has the spark or the idea or the human inspiration that drives people to want to write. And that's my take.
Well, I agree, but what we just saw when Greg had it write a story about whatever 3 guys in the woods in a cabin, and it wrote, and I don't know if this is specifically what the Writers Guild is striking about, but you know, when you write a script, certainly for TV, there's a story, there's a story, you get paid for that, and then if they like the story, they put you in a teleplay and you get paid. The story's 40%, teleplay's 60%. So an executive can sit there and go to AI and say, you know, here's the TV show, and I want a story about where the guy loses his wallet and he forgets their honeymoon, or he forgets their anniversary. So then the studio gets the story written, they pay nothing, then they give it to a writer and they say, now you write the teleplay, which is the hard part, the dialogue, everything, and they're only going to get 60%. So they really are going to put people out of work to write stories if AI can write a story as
But
compelling.
if that's where it's going, how can you fight it?
Well,
the way
because
you fight it is you
you
give
say-
the writer the right to use AI to start.
Well,
And
that's
they,
the other
they'll
question.
never know that he used
well,
it.
that was the other question. Now, I as a writer can write the story through AI and give it to the studio, and they go, we love that story, go to teleplay. And then I'll write the teleplay. Now they say AI can do teleplays.
But George, you just said that AI has to be inspired.
Well, no.
You're giving it the inspiration.
I think if you don't start with your inspiration and just start with AI, I feel like that's.
But the
taking the human
AI doesn't
element
know what
out
to
of it.
write about.
Well, that's always true. And
AI, write me a movie.
but see here,
I don't think it could do anything.
here's the issue. You still need someone to decide what part of that story is good and what should be changed, and maybe
Yes.
so writers are not going to. I certainly wouldn't want to say, well, I'll give it guidance, but you got to pay me the full rate. If they're going to try to save money, then we're sabotaging ourselves. Why let AI write something where we can write it and get paid? And maybe that's what the strike's about. I haven't really got the details.
You know what's going to happen is you're going to see very soon. Here's the movie called Cheese. It's the first full script written by AI, and that's what you're going to see.
No, but if the guild is striking, they won't be allowed to do that because they're signed with the guild. That's what the guild is trying to stop. They're not going to let a studio make a movie without a writer. And they're going to replace actors. if they can do
I
it.
know it. I saw
No.
Simone.
But I
like
didn't like
that
that
movie.
movie. I didn't like it. You did. See, I think there's a point where it's going to have. I think that's what part of the battle is. The whole
Maybe.
AI thing. That I know.
Will you explain the difference between teleplay and the story? So that I don't think any people aren't experts.
Okay. When a script's written, same thing with the movie. You do a story first. Some people call it a treatment, but you do the story. It's not all the description and dialogue and characters. You just do a treatment, a story.
2 pages, something like that.
Oh, a movie could be 25 pages. A TV show, we used to write stories. They were 10 pages for an hour show. Sometimes we didn't even write. We just went into the whole script, but that's another story. We still got story money. So you do the story, and if they like the story, they'll give you the changes, and then they say, go to teleplay. And that's when you write fade in, exterior, house, dialogue, action, and it's called the teleplay.
Does a movie have a teleplay, or is that
Yeah,
just TV?
it's called a screenplay.
All right.
If you see there's
So there's a story, and then you write. Then the dialogue is the teleplay.
yes, and dialogue and all the description
Right,
and
got
slug
it.
lines, and in television,
What's
in
the slug
movies.
line?
John walks into the bar, and it's dark, and
All right.
there's two.
Yeah. This,
Interior day.
no.
That's not a
That
s-
well.
That's the slug line.
Oh, slug line. You're thinking of the description. You're thinking of the TV guide slug line, log line.
Oh, log line.
Log line. Slug line is the actual exterior house. That's just
It'll
technical
write.
stuff.
What's the other thing called? Oh my God.
A slug line,
No, and then-
action.
And the act. No.
And
What's the
dialogue.
description? They walk into a bar. It's dimly lit.
Action. That's called
That's
action.
the action, right?
Yeah. But I mean, but the idea is, are writers going to not write stories anymore? All the
I don't know.
stories will be given, and then the writers will, and you know.
So you're saying that the writer can use it, not a studio?
No, I'm saying that's the. I don't think anybody should use it where
How would they know?
where it puts. You're right.
How would they know?
Well, here's the other thing. What about rewrite? See, arbitration. Like, what if you change the IA story when you write the screenplay?
AI.
AI. You change the AI story. In the Writers Guild, you go through arbitration. Like the first writer who does the story, maybe another writer rewrites his story. He bites into credit. So it might say story by AI and Mark Jones, screenplay by Mark Jones and David
AI is never
Smith.
going to get a credit. Is
Well,
it?
no, that's my point. If they would have to be arbitrated because it depends on how much you change and who gets the credit.
Well, you're getting into the legal shit now. I'm just saying.
What's the stuff that we're
I
striking?
get it, but
Yeah.
but the bigger conversation is, will AI? Will it eventually become a completely AI product? You can make actors, you can make scripts. You know, there's that line from The Player. What the hell do we need these actors for anymore? Right? Once we get we get rid of these actors, we'll have it made or something like that. He says.
Well, if that's true, then again, then there's nothing for anybody to do, and we might as well just sit on the couch and eat and smoke.
pretty much what we do now.
Yeah.
How do you stop it though?
Well, I think the guild is absolutely striking.
You be
because
better
of
than
that.
it. That's how you stop it. You
Well-
have to write better than AI writes it.
Well, I think we do, but then people might think not, or they might think AI writes good enough. That's
Well, how would you know?
well, that's what I think this strike is very important.
You'll never know.
Well, if you do it as a writer, they'll never know. But
so
if the
what?
studio
So,
will be
so
wise
then
to
it might get to the point where the script the studio just writes a script and says, "I'm going to put Mark's name on it. We're going to give you $50,000. I'll put your name on it." And I'm not knocking writers on anybody. A lot of people will say, "Okay, just give me the $50,000." Right? Some people might just want the money.
Well,
and again, I'm not taking
well,
a cheap shot at
I mean,
anybody.
again, then that would have to be done outside the guild, and
Yes.
the studios are all signed with the guild, so they can't.
Yeah.
Well, then they might destroy the guild. I'm
I-
saying
might.
it might be.
I'm not trying to talk bad about anybody.
You know what?
I'm just saying it's
a scary thing that is happening so fast, and I agree that what I just saw tonight kind of scares me that it can actually do a story. But you're always going to need somebody to decide, is that a good enough
Greg,
story?
Can you put it in AI, write dialogue for the movie you just came up with?
What was with the sideways cigar thing there? That was
Because
dangerous.
I had to clap. And
It was
I,
dangerous. You should put it in the right way.
So we just asked Greg to tell the AI to write dialogue for the story that we came up with about the three guys going into the cabin in the woods.
Is it like in a script format?
Yeah.
Oh, God. Okay.
The dimly lit cabin holds an air of mystery. The three friends, John, Mark, and David, sit around
Mark?
a wooden table. They're faced by the flickering light. They pass around a box of cigars. John. Cigars. The perfect companion for a night like this.
I love it.
Mark, couldn't agree more, John. It's freezing outside. David. Nothing like a good smoke to warm us up. Cheers, gentlemen. They clink their glasses together and light their cigars, the smoke swirling in the air. John takes a long drag. So have you guys heard the stories about this place? They say it's haunted.
It's pretty.
Mark, haunted? Oh, come on, John. You don't believe in that stuff, do you? Well, this place does have an eerie vibe to it. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if there's some truth to those tales. Who knows, John says. Sometimes truth hides behind the legends, my friends. The atmosphere grows subtly tense. The crackling fire casts unsettling shadows on the walls. Mark, you've always had a way with words, John, but let's not let our imagination run wild tonight. We're just here for a good time, right? Right. Good time with good friends. John's gaze lingers a moment too long, his eyes glinting with an unsettling intensity. John, indeed, a good time with good friends. Nothing could be better. A gust of wind rattles the cabin's fragile window, causing a momentary pause in the conversation. The unease settles upon them, and they exchange uneasy glances, sensing something amiss. The stage is set, and the presence of darkness within their midst begins to make its presence known.
I love it.
That's pretty damn good.
I love it.
Oh, you're out of work, Mark Jones.
You know, I got to tell
You
you.
are out of work, my friend.
Wow. Okay.
Again.
Okay, wait a minute now. Now, Greg, okay, try something else. Rewrite that scene with humor.
With comedy.
Humor. That's a good idea.
No, say comedy.
Humor.
No, I think it would make a difference because
Whatever.
Because of comedy.
That's
Oh, you jacked her.
I didn't touch anything, but
What's the difference between humor and comedy?
Well, humor they might think it's. I just think if you say comedy, they'll do.
Wait, I asked the question. You answered it facing him. What's wrong with you?
Right?
You know what it is? It's the way I'm positioned with the chair. It's awkward to do this.
Oh, it's
We need to
bullshit.
position you better.
That was not a poorly written scene.
All the furniture I have. Right?
Well, you know, I was thinking the dialogue. I'm going. I could do better, and I
The
didn't.
dialogue was a little stilted.
Yeah. So
You
I'm
get
saying,
that's when you have the
but-
actors come in who are now AI, who get a little bit loose with it.
No, actors can't fix dialogue. No, you know what they said they were going to do is have the writers fix the dialogue.
have you
just
ever had
tweak
an
it.
actor try and fix your dialogue? How'd you deal with it?
No, they stick pretty much to the script.
Really?
I mean, sometimes they come up with better.
Didn't on
cadence.
scoring, do you have a lot of input in, like,
No.
when you're shooting?
Unless the actor doesn't want to do it. But no, all my actors, they do the
I
dialogue.
think I see a trouble a brewing.
Marco, it was nice knowing you.
Writing.
They don't.
It's like writing as you go.
So there's
Okay,
humor, there's comedy in this.
I want to
Well,
see.
what, I have to go way back,
I just said right that.
way back to the top. I gotta go.
Said add humor.
Wait. Where does he have to go to get it? You got to help him.
Probably at the top. You can probably tell. You know, it's after everything else that you just read. It's continuing.
Who knows something to my lies? You've always had a way with words, John. Right, a good time with friends. Indeed, a good time with friends. Nothing could be better. A gust of wind. The stage is set for a weird night.
That's the same thing.
Okay, now here's the one with humor.
Okay, this we got to see.
Cigars. The perfect way to pretend we're sophisticated gentlemen.
I love it.
We're dead.
Mark says, exactly, John. We may be surrounded by creepy vibes, but at least we'll look classy while we're at it. David.
While we die. See,
I can already picture it. Three rugged adventurers conquering the wilderness, armed with nothing but cigars and questionable fashion choices.
Okay.
They chuckle and clink their glasses together. Page 2, taking a long drag. So, have you guys heard the stories about this place? They say it's haunted. Haunted? Oh no, my delicate heart can't handle ghosts and ghouls. I might spill my whiskey. Come on, Mark. You know you'd scream like a little girl if you saw a ghost.
This is completely written by AI.
Why?
I'm blown
Sounds
away.
like
Why I never.
In 10 seconds.
I never. I'll have you know. I'd scream like a valiant warrior facing a fierce dragon. They burst into laughter. Well, gentlemen, let's hope this haunted cabin doesn't decide to join our little adventure tonight. To the haunted cabin. May it keep its ghostly inhabitants entertained and away from our cigars. You know, if we do encounter a little bit of a beat, if we do encounter a ghost, I say we challenge it to a dance-off. That'll show them who's boss. They burst into laughter. You got a problem. It's not hilarious, but it's funny.
But it's doing the right viewpoint of when you said make it funny.
And each character.
You know
has
what
their-
it's written like?
I'm sorry.
It's written like a bad writer
Did I
that you
scratch
gave.
it?
No.
That's
All
it.
right.
It's
Not
like
one pun in that whole thing.
It's like not a real experienced writer who's not top of his game, and you said make it funny, and then you'd go in and do the rewrite on it.
But it wrote.
But
it wrote comedy.
What was the one before the dance off? Or you scream like a
I don't
girl?
think you can stop it, Mark. I think it's here to stay. So you guys got to figure out how to work it.
Anyway.
Well, that's why the studios and the Writers Guild are going to make rules. Like if they use it, fine, but the writers have to get paid.
So that's our
or
take
something,
on
but
AI taking over the
It's very
entertainment
scary.
business.
My career
Wow.
was over a long time ago,
Wow.
but now it's really over.
That is brutal.
That kind of blew me away.
See at my nose with